And so we'll have a little bit more. Awesome. And so whenever you sit up on that pillow, take whatever movement you need to just settle in. So if you have any like fidgets, or if you want to take a few neck rolls nice and gently, of course you can, to work maybe some of that tension out. And then allow your hands to either rest on your thighs or to rest in your lap. I like to offer up the hands on the thighs simply because then you can start to think about where your shoulders land in space. So naturally, if I bring my hands in my lap, my shoulders want to follow and go forward. And then I start this rounding action, which is often where I just land because of muscle memory. And so maybe you take a little bit more action in the upper back by bringing the hands to your thighs and thinking about your elbows drawing back in space just a little bit more, to feel the chest broaden, the shoulders draw back. And then think about where your chin lands. Is it close to your chest? If it is, maybe consider lifting it a bit. And then drawing the weight of the head back in space. So just directly back, not so much tilting the face up, but bringing the weight of the head back. So nice. And then once you land there, take a big breath in. Maybe even open up your mouth, let out a slow exhale. And do that 2 more times. Maybe even close the eyes if you can. Think about the base of your neck, right? So where that natural curve happens in the back of your neck, think about the base of that, or the bottom of that curve. It's like that bony part of our spine that might even just like stick out or protrude out just a little bit more than the other vertebra. And so you might even take your hand there and find it. And so call that C7, right? So your cervical spine, the bottom of that would be C7. And then think about an invisible string attached to that vertebra, drawing straight up towards the ceiling, like lifting you up from there. So often we talk about the top of the head. I just want to switch it up a bit and think about the base of our neck, drawing you upwards a little bit more, and just see what happens there. Notice the weight of your head. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Take one more big breath in right here. Fill all the way up. Open up your mouth, let out a sigh. And take your arms up overhead as you inhale. And then drop your left hand down. Just let your fingertips graze the ground and walk them over to the left enough so you just lean over, start to tip your torso over. You find this length through the right side. Reach through the fingertips a little more, one more breath in. And then you'll slowly come up, and then you'll switch. Left hand rises, right hand walks over, you tip your torso over to the right. Find that length through the left side for one more inhale. And it's back up to a seat. Take your legs out in front of you. Give them a little bit of a shake. Maybe roll the ankles, fan out the toes. Again, maybe take a slow, gentle movement in the head, in the neck. And then take the shin in front that you wouldn't normally, with muscle memory, take. So the opposite shin comes in front, the one that feels a little bit strange. And then hands come to your thighs like before. Sit up nice and tall. Think of that base of the curve of your neck lifting you up from that spot. Full breath in, just to find that new muscle memory or create that new pathway. And a breath out. So nice. Now take your arms out like the letter T, so your palms face forward. Start to draw the back of your hands back on your inhale. So you stretch across the pec muscles, the shoulders, the arms, the chest. Maybe now lift the chin, lift the face on the inhale. And then as you exhale, wrap your right arm on top of the left, like you're giving yourself a hug. Inch your fingertips a little bit closer together towards your shoulder blades. And then think about as you start to round your back, you're going to almost like curl in like you would in cat pose. You're going to curl the spine forward and almost pull that space apart in between your shoulder blades. So it's like you're like pulling your shoulder blades off your back here. So nice. Now sit up nice and tall again. Open the arms wide apart like a T. Back of the hands draw back, lifting the chest, lifting the face. And then we'll take the other side. Left arm on top. Give yourself a hug. Well deserved. And inch your fingertips closer. And then round forward. Maybe dropping your chin towards your chest. Can you pull the shoulder blades apart, like stretching that space in between your shoulder blades? A bit more. And then sit up, open the arms wide. Take your hands and just tent them behind you for a moment. And your fingertips will like almost face out towards the sides, maybe even slightly behind you. And then lift your chest up here. So you'll start to look up towards the ceiling. So nice. And then come back up to center. Meet me in hands and knees, tabletop pose. You can move your pillow off to the side. And then once you are in that tabletop position, start to let the belly sink down, lift the tailbone, lift the chest, look straight ahead, maybe even start to take the gaze up a bit more. And then exhale, curl into cat pose, drawing the belly up and in, looking in between your knees. Do that one more time. Inhale to find cow pose. Slow exhale to find cat. So there's no rush to get here. Now stay in cat pose. And you're rounding in the back, but I want you to think about sending your seat back towards your heels here. Stay rounding in the upper back like you're pressing your upper back up towards the ceiling even more. And then stay rounded. Walk both fingertips over to the right a bit. And you'll start to feel that stretch maybe in the left side. For me, it's like really intense right below my left ribs. A space that could use an extra stretch or two. And then come back to center. Stay rounding again and walk your fingertips over to the left. So just these like funky little ways to get into those spaces around our shoulder blades. And come back to center, which can oftentimes help with posture and maybe even that tension in the neck. And then take one more round of cat-cow once you're back in tabletop pose. So inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to round the upper back. Come back to neutral here. Start to send your right leg behind you on an inhale and let it float for a moment. Just take a roll of the ankle, maybe a wiggle of the toes, and step your right foot outside your right hand. So just coming into an easy lunge here. Start to rock the hips forward on the inhale. Pull the hips back and just pick the right toes up so you find a little bit of a stretch in the back of the right leg. Rock forward back into that lunge, and then this time Reach your arms up and overhead. Big breath in. Take them out like the letter T. And do what you did in a seat here. Send the back of the hands back, lifting the chest, lifting the chin on the inhale. And then as you exhale, right arm over left, like you were giving yourself that hug. Now stay here for a moment. Lift your elbows on the breath in, maybe lift your chin as a result. And then as you exhale, think about your elbows coming inside your right knee. So you'll round in forward, kind of like you did when you were in a seat, right? Can you pull a bit on the shoulder blades, tugging them apart? And then come back up. Arms come out like a T on the inhale. And then bend the elbows like goalposts. So palms will still face forward. Now I want you to send your elbows, your forearms, your hands back behind you enough to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So create a little bit more strength there. Take one more breath in, maybe lift the chin, lift the face. Excellent. Hands come back down inside your right foot. Now tuck your back toes and lift your knee up. Start to walk your hands down the long edge of your mat and parallel your feet. Come right into a wide leg forward fold. Bend your knees enough to then drop your head and shake your head. Yes? No. Release tension in the neck here by just letting gravity take hold and let your head drop. And if you want to find movement in the legs, you can maybe bend one knee, shifting the weight to one side, and then bend the other knee, all the while letting the muscles in your neck release and soften. And find a halfway lift here. Take a breath in, walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Now see your right foot, frame it at the top of your mat into that lunge, but try not to drop your back knee because you'll just step your left foot up to meet the right. Take a halfway lift here. Hands come to your shins. And walk your hands up your thighs slowly to come up to standing mountain pose. Arms down along your sides, palms forward. Shrug your shoulders here on an inhale, draw them up. And then actively draw them back and down. Do that one more time. Draw them up on the inhale. Back, maybe a little squeeze there, and then draw them down. Let them soften. Start to sit back into chair pose. So just bend the knees. Doesn't have to be like a super deep chair pose, just enough to shift the weight into the left foot. And we're finding eagle. So start to maybe find eagle arms. You'll wrap your right arm under the left. Now either hands can come to your shoulders or you can lift your fingertips and wrap your hands like so. And then once you're there, pick up your right foot, maybe your right leg stacks on top of the left. So another place where we can access the space in between the shoulder blades. Maybe you start to, if your hands are like mine, you send your forearms, your hands away from your face. If your hands are resting on your upper arms or your shoulders, that's fine too. Take one more big breath in. And release, right foot drops. Take your arms down along your sides, give them a shake. And then you might even start to take like almost like, I call this like a washing machine arms. Just let them kind of drape and move around your body as you twist right and left. Sometimes just like this alone can feel really, really nice. And slow that down, come back to mountain pose. Palms forward again, big breath in. Maybe even a sigh out. When you're ready, reach your hands up overhead on an inhale. Softly bend the knees to hinge at the hips and fold forward. Maybe take a moment here and then halfway lift on the inhale, hands come to your shins, heart goes forward. And bring your hands down, step your left foot back, drop your left knee down, reach your arms up overhead on the inhale, back into that lunge. Right hand will grab your left wrist for a moment and just lean over to the right. Excellent. Come back up. Right knee comes to meet the left. Tabletop pose. Breath in to find cow. Breath out to find cat. Back to neutral spine here. And then your left leg goes back. Let it float. Take a roll of the ankle. Fan out the toes. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Maybe wiggle walk it in a bit and then rock your hips forward for a moment into that lunge and then pull the hips back. You pick the left toes up. Getting that hamstring stretch. Rock back forward. And when you're ready, arms reach up overhead. They come out like a T on the inhale. And it's your left arm over the right, inching your fingertips towards your spine a bit. Lift your elbows, lift your face. And then exhale to round in. Think elbows coming inside that left knee. Take one more inhale here. Stay for the exhale. You'll come up, rise up, arms come back out, open up, and then bend through the elbows. Take those goalpost arms one last time. Actively, can you draw the elbows back and squeeze the shoulder blades together? Maybe lift the chest, lift the face. And then exhale, hands come down back inside that left foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee up, give it a break. Hands will trace the long edge of your mat over to the right, wide leg forward fold. Take a breath in right here. And then exhale to let your head, again, the weight of your head just release. Soften your jaw. Take that movement into maybe a lunge, side lunge here, one knee into the other, if you want that. Rarely do we get that opportunity to just let our head hang down. Our neck does so much work throughout the day to keep our head up. So maybe you find release here. And when you're ready, halfway lift, breathe in. Frame your left foot in that lunge. And step your right foot up to meet the left. Halfway lift on the inhale, hands to your shin. And then let your hands walk up the thighs to rise up to standing. Palms forward, breathe in, shrug the shoulders. Breathe out, allow them to soften. Do that one more time. Inhale to rise. Exhale to soften. And sit back into chair pose, bend the knees. And then this time, arms come out like a T for a moment. You'll wrap the left arm under and you'll find eagle arms to then shift the weight into the right foot and bring the left leg over. So whether you have hands on your shoulders or take the opposite one that you took before. Maybe I took that one, that side before. Yeah, you do you. Whatever is the opposite of what you took last time. I'm like, wait, I did the opposite last time. Right and left. Take a big breath in and out. One more full round of breath. And release. Plant both feet. Arms down on your sides. Maybe even close the eyes and you bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, just to connect with your breath for a moment. Breathe in and out. 3 more full rounds on your own here. So tracing the inhale all the way to the top. And exhaling all the way to empty. And then taking an even bigger breath in. Slower exhale out. I'm just starting to slow things down here. You can stay here as long as you need, of course. And if you're ready, you can open the eyes if they're closed. Reach the arms up overhead. Big breath in. And softly bend the knees to fold forward. Take your halfway lift, hands to your shin. Place your hands down, step the right foot back. Drop the right knee. Reach arms up overhead. Now it's the left hand that will wrap around your right wrist. Lean over to the left. And come back up. Left knee comes to meet the right. Grab your pillow, place it in front of you, and take your knees a little bit wider apart. Your feet can come closer together, send your seat back. Walk your hands forward a bit, land on your forearms, and you can slide this pillow like right underneath you to then land either your forehead on that pillow or one ear, one cheek to the side. And just a supported child's pose. And close your eyes. Allow yourself to rest. Maybe you just allow your head to hang again, if that feels good. You're not here too much longer. But give yourself permission to pause. Take a breath in. Slow exhale out. Start to lift your head up and just slowly glide that pillow, slide it forward just a bit more, just a little bit. You can even keep it where it is. And then start to come forward onto hands and knees. Take any final movement that you need here. It's your last time in this shape. And then you'll come to a seat, but I want you to flip towards the back of your mat. So your pillow will stay lengthwise, like along the front of your mat, and you face the back of your mat. You're going to land back on that pillow in a supported fish pose to end your practice. And so you'll find that right spot. We're all different, right? Where your natural curve exists in your low back, and it feels nice to just rest on that pillow and maybe take your arms out like a T. Make sure the back of your head is supported wherever you are. And so maybe that requires 2 pillows, maybe a blanket under your head. And get yourself set up. If that does not work for you today, then of course you can take that pillow out from underneath you. Maybe you place it somewhere else. Maybe it's under your head. Maybe it's under your knee. But whatever allows you to find this place of opening, softening, and releasing for your final moments here on your mat. Take a big breath in wherever you are. And again, maybe let the lips part, a slow exhale out the mouth. Maybe one more here for good measure to settle in, breathe in. And out. Allow the eyes to close. Again, the jaw can soften. Allow the toes to soften, the arches of your feet and your ankles to find this sense of release, sense of ease. The muscles in your legs, in your hips, in your belly. Kind of softening across the chest, down the arms to the tip of your fingers. In the upper back, back of the neck, the sides of your neck, even the front of your throat. Maybe finding a little bit of ease or release. Soften the muscles around the eyes. And the forehead. And the top of your head. Give yourself this opportunity to rest with intention. And if your mind wanders without judgment, bring it back and just let it focus on your next inhale. The fall of the exhale. The rise of your breath in. The ease on your breath out. A few more like that. Find slow, subtle movements to start in your fingers and your toes. Maybe rock your head gently side to side. Bend your knees enough to then roll to the side of your choice and come up to a seat. Maybe you sit up on that pillow if that feels better, more supportive. Revisit that posture, right? That idea of the base of your neck drawing up a little higher, the weight of your head being almost effortless on top of that. And maybe bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take a breath in. Maybe a sigh out. Honor yourself for creating that time to just move, to breathe, to be a little more intentional with your breath, with your movement. And you take your thumb tips up to the center of your forehead. You can lift your chin, lift your face, remembering to be kind to yourself first, so you can then share that kindness as always out with those or to those around you. Namaste.